there's been a lot of Maui residents who've, despite all the efforts that you've been detailing, are still frustrated with the response. So how has the president been preparing for what could be a tough reception when he meets with survivors and first responders today?
Look, you've heard from the president directly. He knows these folks in the community have been through something devastating and traumatic. Today he'll meet with parents who've lost children and children who've lost parents and first responders who saved others' homes while their own burned to the ground. So I think it's going to be an emotional day for everyone. And the president certainly intends to stand with them and make sure that that he communicates to them that not only have we been there since day one, has he been there since day one, but as he said just yesterday, he intends for his administration to be there for Maui as long as it takes. And that's part of why he's announcing this role today. Bob Fenn, who's been on the ground from day one, as you heard from the administrator, going to be there over the long term to make sure that not just today and tomorrow, but into the future, there is a coordinated, strategic federal response, because this is going to be a long, hard process. As you've heard from a number of officials in recent days and weeks, it's going to be a long-term recovery. And certainly Bob is committed to being there on the ground and making sure that, as Deanne just said, we're bringing the full federal family together to ensure that Maui has whatever it needs. I also just want to take a step back, because I think it's important to remember that the president has been there from day one, marshaling a whole of government response to this, to the wildfires. And just to put a little bit of a finer point on that, from the earliest hours after these wildfires broke out, and we saw the reports, the president engaged. I can tell you on Thursday, August 10th, when the president was in Utah for the PACT Act anniversary event, that morning he received at 10:32 a.m., the White House received a major disaster declaration request from the state of Hawaii from the governor's office. By 11:35, 63 minutes later, that had made its way through the White House, gone out to Utah, been printed and signed by this president. 63 minutes. Within hours after that, he'd spoken to the governor to confirm that he signed that major disaster declaration, and then he went out and he gave remarks to the world about it at a event that you all covered, that was covered on live television. And then the days after that, he continued to receive daily briefings from the staff, engage with state and local officials. You don't have to take my word for it. I think you're going to hear from state and local officials in Hawaii today about just how engaged and committed this president has been in the last 2 weeks. And that has continued all the way up through yesterday, where, as Administrator Criswell alluded to, we had another 90-minute briefing with the president yesterday, in which she continued to ask the tough questions and make sure that we're doing everything that we possibly can to accelerate the recovery. So this president has been engaged, has been committed, and again, he's going to deliver the message today that he's going to be there for Maui every step of the way in the weeks and months and years ahead.
Olivia, I understand